Hello and welcome back. Now today are going to look at how we can use the loops in a real world. Okay, some practical use of the loops. Now most of the time we know loops are for repetition. Okay, loops are for repetition. That's what the loops are all. They are for. Now let's say we have a string. Array of string. So string car list 5. Okay, so we have our array, and then we also have our element. So array of size 5, meaning it's going to store 5 elements, like you can see here. Okay, now how do we display the element of this array? The only way we can do that is by using our cout and then doing it one by one. So cout, the name of the array, and then the index of the element we want to display. So to display Benz will have index of 0. So that will come here, and let's execute. You can see Benz is displayed. Okay, how do we display the Opel, Kia, and then the others? We have to use the same approach, call the name of the array, and then simply specify the index of it. Car list of 2 should give us that. Okay, so car list of 3 and and then the last one I think will be car list of what? 4. So this will be the last element. You realize that with arrays, the indexes it starts from 0, not 1. So even though when counting, we will call this one to be the first element, the second, the third, in that order. But what happens is it starts 0, index starts from 0. So Benz will have index of 0, 1, 2, 3, and then what? 4. So the last element will not be 5, but it will be what? It will be 4. That's how come we have this. So it starts from 0 all the way to what? 4. That's the indexes. Now we execute, we run the program, and you see all the element of the array is displayed nicely there. Okay, now this one is not really tedious, but imagine we have an array storing 500 elements, and we are asked to display all the 500 elements on the screen. Are we going to repeat ourselves 500 times? Remember, this is just repetition we are doing. The same cout, the same car list. The only thing that change is will be the index. Okay, so repeating ourselves 500 times will not be the ideal way. This is why concepts like the loops exist. So they exist so that most of the time, most importantly, when dealing with arrays, you realize how arrays are collection of elements. So for the collection of elements, instead of repeating yourself throughout, you can easily use loops, okay, to find your way of dealing with this kind of repetition. So I will use loops, and then you see how a few lines of code can also achieve the same result you are seeing up here. Okay, so let me just write using loops. Okay, this one is the manual approach. Now we will use loops, and to use loops, the one that most of the time you can rely on is for loop. All the other types of loop can be used for displaying or doing this kind of job, displaying all the elements in an array, or performing certain operation on each of the element in an array. Can use the while loop for that, the do while loop for the for these two, but the go-to for such will be the what? Will be the for loop. Okay, so let me say using for loop, not loops. What we'll do is, first of all, let me add a step here. So what we can do is our for loop will come here, and then we set the initial to the first index, that is 0. Then we limit the count to the last element. So use a step of 5. You can write this note down. It will help you a lot. This is the approach you can go by to display any element in an array. So first of all, it says set the initial of the for loop to the first index. Now, you know, always your first index when dealing with an array is going to be what? 0. So we say int I is equal to what? 0. Then moving from there, it says what? We limit the count to the last element. What's the index of the last element in this array? You know, the index of the last element is 4, because 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 4 is the last element. That means we need a condition that will allow the printing to get from 0 all the way to 4. It shouldn't exceed. So we say I is less than or equal to 4. Sorry, it's less than or equal to 4. We can also say I is less than 5. And then we use a step of 1. Sorry, a step of 1. So I plus plus, like this. Now this I plus plus is the same as I plus equals 1. They are the same. So this thing we have here, this loop is going to generate from 0 all the way to what? From 0 all the way to 4, like this. So run the program and you can see we have 0 all the way to what? All the way to 4. So this loop is now ready to be able to what? Display all the elements in an array. You know that the array is having, you know, indexes for the element. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 has representation in the array. So this is doable, is possible. Okay. And let me just comment out this line up here. So the shortcut will be Control Shift and then C to comment the lines up here. Okay. Now we have our loop constructed, and then the I you see here is giving us the what? The indexes, that is the count. Now it's up to us to actually, instead of getting the what? Instead of getting the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we want to now make it in such a way that in place of 0, it goes inside the array and then fetch us an element having that index. Then in place of 1, we locate the 1 in an array. That will get us opel, 2 the same, 3 the same. So we will go into the array and then locate each of the numbers that is printed here. And you know the numbers here will be the indexes. That is why it's very important to always follow this approach when you are using the for loop for printing your array element or working around your array element. You set the I to be the initial. You limit the count to the last element. That is, it has to include the last element being its index, right? And then a step of 1. So instead of I, we will say that, you know, we want the car list, and then this time around we want to put I in here. So for the first time, instead of it being 0, because we have the car list here, it's going to what? Get us what is in the 0, like that. Run the program and then you can see Benz, Opel, Kia, and then Audi. So in the future we can update our list. We can just add another one, 6, and that one will be which other Kia? Which other car? Not even Kia, I said Kia. Which other car? So let me just make it Vit. I think Vit is part of Toyota, though it's coming from Toyota, but you know, permit me to use this one just for learning sake. So since over here now we have the size changed to 6, when we run it, the last car will not be captured. The main reason why I can see the last car being vid is not captured is because we need to update the condition of the loop. At first it was 5, now it has been changed to 6. So instead of having 5 here, we change it to what? 6, and we'll run again. It's going to be able to capture the changes. We have the vid here too as well. So you realize we don't have to be adding them manually like we did here. With just few lines of code, our program will be able to look through the element, and if you want to display them, it's doable. It can do the displaying. If you want to be changing them to, it's possible. Okay, so let me just add one last thing, then we'll look at the next thing to do. So our append at index I. So car list at index and then I. This car list is going to be the element in the array that will be displayed. The at index you see here is a static word that will always come in front of each of the elements the program will be displaying. So Benz will come, and then the at index will join it. Another one, the next car will come, and then the at index will join it. And then the I will see here, you see here will be the the indexes we are displaying. The I's, get the I. So then for the first time is 0, the next one is 1, in that order. That is what will come here. So Benz at index 0, this car is at this index, right? We want to simply display the indexes right against them. So if I run the program, you see Benz at index and then 0 is there, but I think you can see they are joined together. It doesn't improve, it's not really readable. So let's look at how we can make it look good. Now right in front of the at, I want to add a space there so that it can affect the output. Now let's run again. So Benz at index of what? 0. The same way the Kia, Opel, they are all there, and then the at index is right in front of them. Okay, so you can see anything you do here will affect all the elements in the array. So this one line of code, you realize is working for all of them. It's working for all of them. So let me add a slide space here, and then you can see it's working. Okay, so this is one of the instances where for loops can be used. Okay, where for loop can be used. So let me clear the manual approach. We will not use this one again, and then I'll leave this one to also be there. Now one last thing I want to also show you is the importance of the for loop. Now they can ask you to run a program, write a program that will maybe run for some number of times, or for a number of people. You are asked to design a program that will maybe take the names of 20 students, or maybe a program that will check if users can vote or not, and the users are 5. So let your program run for each of the 5 people. This one too, you can use the loops. So watch this. First of all, how many people are you asked to write the program for, to check if they can vote or they can't vote? Let me just add here. So number of people is 5, and then the task is to check if they can vote or not. That is the task. Now when a question like this is given, okay, first of all what you need to do is you write your program. Okay, so now I'll say that int age is equal to 0, and then we say cout enter age, and then cin age. So we have the age variable created, and then a cout, that will be the label. The user will see this as a label or something, like for them to know the kind of information we are expecting them to provide. This is what they will read to understand, and whatever they type will be stored in the what, the age variable here. Okay, now when we finish, we use the if statement to perform some kind of decision. How do we know if they can vote or not? We know the voting age to be 18, so we say if the age, okay, provided or supplied by the user is greater than or equal to 18, then we can, say that you can vote. What if it's not? Then it means you can't vote. Are you with me? So this is the whole application. First of all, we created our age variable because without creating it, there's no way we can use it down here. Variables are always created first before they can be what? Accessed or used. So code I read from top to bottom, we create the variable, display to the user that they should enter their age, and then right after we are taking the age from them. So meaning the program will allow them type something. Then after they are done giving us the age, we will just go through this process. First is to check if the age they supplied is either greater than or equal to 18, and if it's true, we display you can vote. If it's not true, you can't even try. You get it, you can't vote. So let's run the application. Okay, it's supposed to be NL. Run the program. So enter age. Let me put my actual age there. That is 96. You can vote. Okay, let me run again. I'll put my father's age there. That is 54. That one too can vote. So application is working. We add, we make it 12, and 12 is what? You can vote. There are so many things we can do to the application, like checking if maybe the number provided by the user is an integer or not, checking if the age is not less than 0, and at the same time not up to or greater than maybe 200 or something. But for now, let's focus on this. This is the program they want us to build, but at the same time they want it to run for 5 people. The number of people is 5. Okay, so what you can do is you can just copy or move the whole code here, okay, and then construct a for loop. You get it? Construct a for loop that will run for 5 times, and then you put the code or the program in the for loop. So let's construct a loop that will run for 5 times. So for, and then int I, we want to start the counting from 1, and we want to make sure that the counting is either less or equal to 5. Some can decide to go this way, some too can make it in that I is less than 6. It's also possible, any of them. Okay, so it's less than or equal to 5, meaning when it gets to 5, that will be the dead end. And then for the step, I want to use I++. Okay, now you paste your program in the loop. Let me just format this a bit. So highlight it and then press the tab key to move it in a bit so that you can see the hierarchy. For loop is outside and the children are this code, it's inside. Now just by doing this, it's going to execute the whole of the lines you have within 5 times. Okay, so I hope you understand now that the reason I told you for loop is for counting. Okay, so that is it. Let's run the program and see. Enter the age. So for the first time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then that will be the end. So for the first person, you can vote. I think all of them can vote, with the exception of the last person. You can't vote. Now how about we add some numbers to know that this is the age for the person 1, age for the person 2, in that order. That is also doable. Okay, it's also doable. You can easily append the I to the prompt. You can just say age for person. So something like this. Enter the age for person, and then the I will be the counting value. So if it's the first person, it's going to be 1. That's the first time it's running. After you hit enter and then it comes to run again, you are thinking about the program, but the for loop is just looking at its condition to make sure the condition will return false. So in as much as the program here is executing, the loop will keep an eye on the condition and then the step. So for the first time, when you execute or when you hit enter, it finishes. Then the I is incremented. It comes to the condition to check like that. Okay. So the I will represent the count of the program. For the first time, second time, third time. That is it. So for the first time, the I will be what? Will be 1. When you hit enter and then you are typing the age for the next person, the I is going to change to what? 2. So that 1, 2, 3 that happens is because of the step of 1, 1, 1 we have here. So you execute the program and you can see enter age for person 1, 56. Enter age for person 2, that is 12. You can't vote. Okay. 7. You can't vote. So enter age for person 5. That's the last person. 11 years. You can't vote, and that will be it. Okay. Now with loops, it makes it even powerful. If they want us to enter up to 500 people, I just change the condition to 500 so that this will get me from 1 all the way to what? 500. Now this loop will just it will run for a very long time. It will run for a very long time. It will never stop. Okay. So that's the power of using loops. So the condition is met, it will keep running like that. So we didn't repeat ourselves. Instead of you writing this code and then repeating it for the first person, the second person, the third person, and then you have a long way to go. So the best way is to use loops. If you don't use loop, or if you fail to use loops, then this is how you are supposed to go by. You paste it. This whole line will be for the first person. Then you come down, you do another one for the second person, then another one. You realize you are just repeating yourself. You get it? You are just repeating yourself. So the ideal solution will be that you go with the what? The for loop. Now for loop can be used for a lot of things. Okay, a lot of things can be done with the for loop. So what we'll do here is take a look at what we have here, stick to it, and then make sure you understand it very well. Now in the future, we are going to solve a lot of console questions, a lot of programming questions that will help us to understand the concept very well. Even though you know them though, but for you to apply the knowledge, we need to be building small applications. Okay, so thank you so much for the time. I want you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Give me your comment of anything you don't understand or anywhere you want me to clarify. Even if you have a video you want me to make, try and then put that in a comment. I'll add it to the schedules and they will come up as well. Again, you try and then you share the video to your friends. I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.